Pikes Peak is one of those bucket list things. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have a YouTube account, you've seen videos of Jeff and Sebastian and Romain and all these guys going, ballistic up there. And I just kept thinking, man, this is really sketchy, but I really want to do it. I was drawn to it, even though I know there's a big danger factor here.
Well, people ask me, why do you want to race Pikes Peak? I think the idea is that Pikes Peak exists. Mountains exist. That's why we want to climb them.
There's a lot of places that you don't want to go off. There's no friendly place to go off the track here, I don't think.
No guardrails, big drop-offs. It's really serious stuff.
Here, the consequences in certain areas are so gnarly that you really hold a lot more back than you would if you were at a regular racetrack.
The way you run this track is figure out what you can get away with.
The intimidation factor is higher here than any other experience I've ever had in a car, ever. It's not even close.
The Pikes Peak International Hill Climb is one of the most famous driving challenges in the world. 12.4 miles long, with over 156 turns, the drivers climb nearly 10,000 feet in altitude during the run. From the early days of gravel and dirt roads to the high-stakes international race it has become today, it's a battle unlike any other. Porsche has had a long history at Pikes Peak, from their debut races to Porsche factory driver Romain Dumas's class win in a GT3R. At Pikes Peak, special invitations are offered to both professionals and amateur drivers. Mere mortals can't run Le Mans or Indy, but they can run Pikes Peak. This year, 8 drivers are set to race the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport on the international stage in the first ever Porsche one-make category at the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. Seasoned racers and first-time amateurs can both take on the most treacherous mountain run in the world. Meet the men going up against the mountain, the professionals. Travis Pastrana.
I'm an action sports athlete.
J.R. Hildebrand.
I'm an IndyCar driver.
Mike SKEEN.
I'm a professional race car driver.
And the amateurs, C.J. Wilson.
Currently, I'm the general manager of Porsche Fresno. I am a washed-up retired Major League Baseball player.
Dr. Alex Marmurinu.
I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon, heart and lung surgeon.
Till Bechtelsheim.
I run an investment management firm out of New York.
Nicholas KWAN.
I'm a day trader.
Thomas Collingwood.
I'm a commercial real estate developer in Newfoundland.
And they are all being coached by one of the most decorated drivers in Pikes Peak history. 8-time class champion, Jeff Zwart. And all 8 of his wins came in a Porsche.
Beat that today. I just have a couple of things I need to go over with you. We've had a lot of reports of bears, elk, deer, you name it. We've had it this year. So be aware of that on your early runs. Well, all of them. That you may see animals on the road.
It's important for these guys, especially the rookies here, to get as many runs as possible. And then this morning, a little extra pressure because it's qualifying. So naturally, you want to get in a good position on the road. Qualifying is important here because of the weather that changes throughout the day. So the earlier you can go in the day, the better.
We don't get a full pass from the bottom to the top until race day, so you can feel really good about learning all of these individual sections, I think, and there's still going to be things that are totally new that you've never experienced until you actually, run it on track.
It's definitely the first time I've ever had to just show up and qualify without any real practice or testing or anything, so, still getting used to the car, and there's plenty to be getting used to.
I think one of the coolest parts about being here is you have so many drivers there's elite drivers in different fields, and there's club sport drivers, and just guys that just want to have a good time up this mountain. A doctor is in the field, but at the end of the day, we're all learning. So even though they might be at the top of the racing over here, we're coming in. We have the same tires as the Yokohama. We got the GT4 Cayman club sport class, and we're learning the car, we're learning the tires, we're learning the mountain, and we're all doing it together. So we're having a lot of the same successes and the same feelings all the way up the mountain. So it's been really an epic experience.
From day one, the guys realize that leaning on each other is the only way they'll be able to take on the challenge, and that the mountain is a formidable foe.
SKEEN unfortunately had a little off on a second run. Damage to the underside of the front of the car. It's ripped the radiators off and damaged the floor. Fortunately, we have repair concepts for the chassis on these, and we can repair it. If we get the parts here in time, the jigs, then we may be able to repair it, but it really needs to be assessed on the lift first.
Miraculously, only one car is damaged in the 4 off-course incidents, and no one is hurt. While his team works on the car, Mike SKEEN will lose a valuable day on the mountain. After SKEEN's wreck, his solid time falls to 3rd best, as JR Hildebrand takes pole position, and superstar extreme athlete Travis Pastrana finishes 1 second off JR's pace. CJ Wilson also posts one of the top times on the day.
And then some corners I know I pushed, the one I don't know, I just lay off and just
keep it that way.
Yeah.
How you feel about being on the pole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That was awesome, man.
This is proof in concept. The process works.
Yeah.
Because you look where you were yesterday,
Yeah.
in the group, and where you are today. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Deliver
Thanks,
in the right time.
I
Awesome
appreciate
job.
all the help.
Yeah, awesome job.
Awesome, man.
With qualifying finished for the day, team mentor Jeff Zwart takes CJ Wilson, Travis Pastrana, and JR Hildebrand up the mountain to discuss the race.
So what Mike did is he started to lose it, I think, out of that, and then tried to collect it into here, carrying a lot of speed, ended up over the edge here. You can see where he went through there. And the thing that I think is kind of cool in this, what we're doing here, we're all together in one vehicle. You guys have all dealt with an extreme sport in some way that takes extreme focus.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 156 corners here, and there's no references for hardly any of them.
For me personally, memory was a big skill that I was able to develop as a pitcher, where I knew hitters really well and I knew the conditions, and I was able to say, okay, it's a little bit more humid today, so I can make the ball sink more, because there's more water in the air. So like as the ball's hitting it, so imagine you're the ball is flying through the air and spinning, right? So you can make it spin less, and if it spins less and hits more water particles, then it technically it's going to drop more.
You guys are all come from such a diverse background of sports. How aware were you of each other?
Like, one of the pivotal moments, I feel like, in my late teens, early 20s, I remember carving out an entire evening to sit down and watch the X Games that Travis was going to try the double backflip. And I remember sitting there all by myself, just going absolutely ballistic when he landed it. It's just that was one of the coolest sports moments that I have ever, sort of witnessed. So
JR, I've been a big fan since he won the Indianapolis 500 or 499.5.
yeah, there you go.
Man.
Oh boy.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Okay.
Oh, man.
I'll stop talking now.
See you at turn 1.
Here, crowd's talking starts for
Yeah.
I believe I did out-qualify you today. So.
Whoa, okay.
The guys have only 2 more days to prepare for the race, and the pressure is starting to mount.
Today we're at about 11,000 feet. It's 4:30 in the morning. We've got 7 of our GT4 Club Sports up here. We had a qualifying session yesterday. A couple of guys tried too hard. Mike SKEEN got caught out in the bottom section, and he went a little bit off the road, but he's not here this morning, but he'll be here on race day. So it'll be good to see how these guys run today.
All right. Tires we had yesterday, we really want to get a good baseline pressure to help us set those up, and those are going to be your race tires, so that's why they're not on here.
you know, it's really special to be here and special to be in a class with drivers like that and kind of try and, you know, measure yourself a little bit against some spectacular drivers, which is always a humbling thing to do.
I think there's going to be 4 of us that get to that top section. We're going to be within 2 seconds for sure, probably 2/10. Mind-boggling how close it is, but that's what's so great about this Porsche, this spec class, and all of us kind of, maybe not first time on the mountain, but kind of first time in these cars on this mountain, all pavement, and it's supposed to snow on Sunday, so let's do it.
The race is just 2 days away. 20 miles away, fans are descending on Colorado Springs for the Pikes Peak Fan Fest.
Well, I remember when he called me and he mentioned Pikes Peak, and I was just kind of mute on the phone for a little bit because I knew that was only so much that I could say because I knew that's something that he would wanted to do anyways.
2018 is a year of first for me. I'm doing Pikes Peak for the first time, so here I am at Fan Fest. I heard that Mobile One has a simulator, so I just booted all these little 12-year-old kids off of it. Greedily trying to get some more laps, get some more seat time. Porsche and Mobile One work together really well. Obviously, it's a huge Le Mans winning international partnership for decades. I'm trying to get some free goodwill out of that by getting some free seat time.
Porsche Colorado Springs has been heavily involved with the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb in recent years. This year, they're fielding the cars for Travis Pastrana and J.R. Hildebrand. Dawn breaks on the final day of preparation before the race. There's no road practice allowed as the crews prepare the course, so the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport drivers huddle up to discuss the race ahead.
So we are the inaugural Porsche GT4 Club Sport class at Pikes Peak. Welcome back to Mike. We missed you. How was your off day? You know,
yeah, well, it wasn't much of an off day for us. Unfortunately, we've been working a lot to get our car back together. And so, you know, we've had guys coming in from some of the competitor teams. We've had parts coming in from Porsche Motorsports, Porsche dealers all over the country. Had it on the wheels, aligned, ready to go at the end of that same day. But it's all good now. We shook it down yesterday at PPIR, and I think we're ready to go.
JR, you know, you're coming out of a car that's got, you know, 2 or 3 times the horsepower or something like this. So
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I think for me, coming into this, I maybe even underestimated how many new things there would be. Travis and I were up on the mountain. We were like, okay, like we need to figure out why Mike is so much faster up at the top of the hill. So let's like kind of join forces here and figure out how the hell we're so far off up on the top of the mountain.
I feel like it's been very cooperative for all of us, you know, because as soon as we get out, you know, we go our little section to the top. Everyone's getting out of the car. So when I've come up later in the session, I've seen all of you guys sitting there kind of like powwowing, like, okay, so what are we doing with this double left and what's the deal there? You know, it'll be a little different scene tomorrow when we're all going to be kind of tunneled in. So
The time for talk is over. Coming up, race day at Pikes Peak. First up is IndyCar driver J.R. Hildebrand, who qualified only 1 second faster than Travis Pastrana and Mike SKEEN. Today will be the first time any of the drivers will have had a chance to run the full course. And they only get one shot.
top. I'm not super confident in my lap time right now, but I felt really good about knowing where I was on the track. You know, felt good about that, which coming into this thing, I knew that if I could finish up here at the summit and say that I knew where every corner was, that was going to be sort of a win.
Next up is Travis Pastrana. He fell just short of JR in qualifying, but he isn't just battling JR. Snow clouds are rapidly moving toward the summit, and these competitors might not even get a chance to take on the mountain. Travis's run when we come back. JR Hildebrand set the bar high with a time of 10 minutes and 39 seconds. Travis Pastrana and the rest of the Porsche Club Sport class are waiting to head up the mountain. With the clouds looming overhead, race officials hope to get the entire class through before the conditions become too dangerous.
There's clouds and fog and snow and everything in the forecast. I hope for good weather for everybody and get my $2 off of JR. Nailed the bottom. I don't know. I had a couple like, it's good. That was fun. Is it snowing?
Yes.
It's just, I lifted pretty good coming in. I was like,
coming out of bottomless, that next?
Yeah.
No, you're right. I
did you lift too?
Checked up a ton there, yeah.
I knew it was flat on the video game. I just didn't trust it.
Travis Pastrana's run has put him in first, and the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport class, but one of his biggest challengers is up next. Mike SKEEN looked like the race favorite before his off-course incident cut his qualifying short. It was a huge win for his crew to complete the major repairs in time for the race, but Mike missed valuable practice time and has had no time for adjustments on the mountain. Just finishing and reaching the peak was a huge win for Mike and his team.
A little disappointed with that, I guess, but glad to be up here. And we had a little bit of a mistake there in the last sector, but car felt pretty decent, not as good as I'd hoped for, but glad to be up here.
One by one, all the guys in the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport class took on the mountain.
I was like, wow, this is it. I'm actually going to get to the top. I didn't want to smile too much, because I still had to get to that finish line, but I knew it was coming.
Tilt Bechtelsheimer had a scare on the corner near the summit. The drivers breathed a sigh of relief when they found out Till wasn't hurt.
The ABS kind of locked up as I was downshifting, and the car skipped, and so I almost lost it. And I was just like trying to get first gear. That's Till. Is Till okay?
As weather worsened, Dr. Alex Marmurnu hit a fog bank that severely limited his visibility. When the weather conditions finally got too dangerous, Nicholas KWAN was forced to stop his run halfway up the mountain. After the final run, it became official. Travis Pastrana is the first ever Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport Class champion.
Just so much fun. Yokohama, I mean, felt like such good grip, and the further back in the field you were, the more fog, the more snow. It just started snowing when I got up here. I got really lucky, and I just can't say enough for everyone that helped me get here.
But for these drivers, Pikes Peak was always about more than their individual times. This race is a different kind of journey, and it didn't just bring them up the mountain.
I think was the next best thing after being here to race Pikes Peak was the camaraderie.
Such a good group, tight-knit group, and everybody's working together and helping each other out.
All of these drivers confronted danger like they've never experienced.
You will never win against the mountain. The mountain will tolerate you, will allow you to be here for a few days.
At the end of the day, they pushed each other to the top of the mountain.